Right, well, hello again, YouTube. Um, I do hope this is working this morning. I set up a live stream on Saturday and then completely forgot that on OBS, once you've set up the broadcast and all that other good stuff, and even if you've said start broadcast, it won't go live till you hit the go live button. So this morning I've hit all the buttons. Right, well, welcome to Monday. Sorry that the Saturday one didn't happen if you'd actually tuned into that. But this morning, what am I going to do? Well, this morning is going to be a recovery ride because my watch is telling me, and because yesterday was just a little bit, I wouldn't say rough is not the word, challenging, shall we say. So what I'm going to do this morning is I'm going to use a Zwift workout I've built myself. So when my Garmin down here tells me I need recovery, it's telling me it wants 160 watts, and I haven't got my glasses on, but I think that's for about 35 minutes. So now I have actually let the watch do that for me. I've let the watch run the trainer and it works pretty good. The only thing is, I do find you can get a little bit of a conflict between the trainer and the watch, in which case it all gets a little bit screwy. So in my experience, you are best to go up to your workouts, and then you can add your own custom workout. And you can see I've added a recovery ride. So that wasn't in Zwift, that's one I've built myself, and it's got a short warm-up, a block at 160, and then a very short cool down. And the benefit of this is it will keep you honest with your numbers. So he says sticking the pad back on the Wattbike. Yeah, so let me select that. Yep, we're going to use this workout. And where are we going to do this? Do you know what? It's a nice, simple, straightforward one. Let's go Tempus Fugit and start working out. Right, so yeah, don't expect anything too spectacular this morning because, like I say, the Wattbike is going to be working the resistance for me, and the resistance is going to be based on that training plan, which is pre-built. And I really like that feature in Zwift. Well, firstly, I really like their training plans. Emily's short mix has become a proper favourite for me, especially before like a weight set or something like that. But more importantly, you know, I use the Garmin 945 on a daily basis. It's never off my wrist, and so it's fitness tracker, sports tracker, everything tracker basically, and it's good at recommending what you should be doing. And what you can do is, for example, if it says it wants a tempo session, it'll actually give you a graph of what it wants you to do. It will give you a description of what it wants you to do. Well, why not go into Zwift and build that as a training set there? And then you can be doing exactly what the watch is telling you to do. And these things are pretty clever. They do take a lot of body metrics into account. So, you know, they're probably pretty good at knowing where you are and what you need to be doing. So, yeah, so why am I doing recovery today? Well, the weekend was a bit of a milestone for me. If you follow my channel, you'll know that probably about 3 months ago, I finally said I've got to do something about the weight and get it under control. It's been spiraling up. Or not spiraling, it's been creeping up for years. And I've had a few false starts where basically I've said I'm going to do something about it, but my head wasn't really in the game. But this time it is. So this time around, I have completely knocked alcohol into touch. So I haven't had a beer in 3 months. Well, not an alcoholic beer. Look at my channel for a video with my thoughts on Guinness Zero, which quite literally, I'm sure that could be, for some people, a lifesaver. So yeah, I haven't had any alcohol in 3 months. Been really paying attention to my diet, ramping up the use of MyFitnessPal, listening to what that's telling me. So, you know, I'm trying to do all the right things, and it is paying off. So 3 months in, at the moment, 24 kilos down, which to me feels like pretty solid progress. And my starting point for this, I make no secret of it, I'm not proud of it, but you know, you are what you are. Starting point was 141.5 kilos. When I weighed in after yesterday's ride, I'm like 117 kilos. And I have a high degree of confidence in that weight because that's using a Garmin index scale, and somehow I've ended up with 2 pairs of these scales and they both agree with each other. So yeah, 24 kilos off. Now, my the way I'm approaching getting back into fitness and triathlon is that I want to get myself down sub 100 kilos. That to me is the proper weight loss phase of the plan. And then when I'm sub 100 kilos, the training for getting back into triathlon, hopefully with a middle distance in 2024, that's when it starts. So obviously the midpoint between 141 and 100 kilos is about 20 kilos. And obviously at the weekend, I had more than met that goal. Now, the reason that I had that goal set was, you may remember, if you watched any of my other videos, I did a restoration on a lovely old Trek Domane 4.5 I've got. And I basically did that restoration a good few years back. I was probably, I guess, a little over 120 kilos when I did that restoration, and rode the bike a handful of times, and then said to myself, I'm probably getting a little bit heavy for this frame. So the bike went on the wall, and there it has stayed, which is a crying shame. So I'd said to myself that as soon as I got under 120 kilos, I'd be back on that bike, and that was this weekend. Recommissioned the 4.5 and got out riding on it. But I also, because I was back on that bike and got myself to not so embarrassing or unmanageable weight, I said I'd do some hills. Now, there are, local to me, a couple of decent ones. One's called Church Lane, unsurprisingly, I bet everybody within half an hour of them has got a church lane that's got a lovely killer hill associated with it. There is another bunch of hills in a town that's not too far away called Rayleigh. But the goal for yesterday was to get myself and the trek up Church Lane. And now that is, somebody described it to me once as an honest mile of climbing. And I guess it probably, or possibly is, just under a mile, top to bottom. Peaks at just over 12%. Along its length, the average gradient I think is 3-ish %, but there are just these couple of ramps that really keep you honest. So yesterday I said, yep, I'm getting up it on the trek. Would you believe, the dear sweet old thing, it's down here next to me, through the chain, just as I approached the 12%. Now, a couple of months ago, I would have at that point just thrown the towel in. But, nope, yesterday I got back on and I did the whole hill doing the steep bit from a standing start. And I must admit, that required just a little bit of focus when I got towards the top. But I did it, and it feels good. But the legs are feeling it today. So yesterday's ride, total of 75 kilometers, which isn't too shabby. And I think there was 450 meters of climbing, which over the whole route isn't an awful lot. But that hill was definitely a centerpiece for me. And doing it from a standing start, that felt good. So after this morning, I've been out already, had about 6k with the dogs along the trails, and now I'm doing this, and yeah, then it's into a weight set, and I have the luxury of a week off work at the moment, which is not going to be spent on my arse. My wife won't let that happen. I'm going to be doing some serious DIY. Couple of days out with the dogs, I think, which will be nice. Yeah, but even though yesterday's ride, 75k, like I say, I think it was about 450 meters of climbing. Where I live, the topography largely is flat and open. And I don't know about where you live, if it's in the UK, but yesterday it was blowing a hoolie. And the headwind is always straight down the barrel of my return route to get home. So it was quite a challenging ride yesterday. I definitely felt like I'd earned something. You may see me when I take my hands off the handlebars here, move my this what that is. That is one of the wrist pads from the tri-bars on the Wattbike, and if there are any Wattbike Atom owners out here, Series 1 owners, tell me if you suffer from this. These pads, give them a month after they've been stuck down and they'll unstick themselves. I've got a fix for that. I've done it on the left hand side and it's working a treat. But basically what the fix is, you have to rub the factory finish off of the little platform that bolts to the bike, the little wrist rest or armrest platform, get it completely smooth, and then paint it with a very high quality matte spray paint that sits dead flat on it. And when you've got a good quality paint on there, things stick to it. It just feels like when Wattbike powder coated it or put the factory finish on, they put on a finish that's a little bit crinkly, and yeah, because it's a little bit crinkly, things don't adhere to it very well. Might do that as a video short. So video coming out this week talking about what I've just talked about, really, getting back on the trek. And if you see me looking down, it's because the track is parked in the pain cave next to me. So yeah, going to be talking about bringing that back into action. I should have checked it over more thoroughly before I rode it, because that chain off was simply the result of a badly adjusted derailleur. And throughout yesterday's ride as well, I was getting quite a bit of chain rub from the front mech. Still, I was just too eager to get back on and get riding it. But here's another thing. I've actually figured out it's actually quite a bit heavier than the Planet X Pro Carbon Evo. So I think next Sunday's ride will involve taking the Planet X up that same hill, just, you know, to see how they compare. Obviously there'll be some marginal gain in my fitness and marginal loss in my weight, I hope, between now and then. But yeah, it will just be interesting. And also the Planet X is 105 R7000, so it's 11 speed, and the old Trek is 10 speed. Now, having said it's 10 speed, I did fit it with oval chain rings, rotor Q rings, and the jury's out on those. I did notice yesterday, compared to the other bikes I've been riding, the power delivery seems to be just a little bit more patchy. Now, obviously, some of that was probably down to badly adjusted mechs, my unfamiliarity with the bike, easing off because of headwinds, thrown chains, 12% hills. But yeah, it the theory, I guess, with those Q-rings is that you should be sustaining power better throughout the pedal stroke. And based on what I saw yesterday, that doesn't necessarily feel like the case. And yesterday, if I'm honest, was, I guess, the first proper evaluation ride I've done on it since I did the restoration. Because all of the other rides had been literally just round the block, socials, you know, nothing probably over 30k, and definitely a lot flatter than I was doing yesterday. So, let's drop a ride-on bomb. So when I finished this morning, I'm into a weight set. Did I mention that? So a strength set. So I've got a little 20-minute workout I put together, dumbbell workout, kind of trying to hit full body with some squats. I think they're called goblet squats, where you kind of hold a dumbbell in front of you. Bent over rows, some bicep curls, some shoulder press, obviously ab crunches, and some chest press as well. So it's a pretty good 20 minutes. And what I'm going to talk about in the video that's coming out this week, and I might serialize it, the things I'm doing to have achieved my midterm weight loss goal, probably ahead of plan. 24 kilos in 3 months. I'm happy with that. So yeah, basically talking about my approach to this, my diet, and my training. And if you've watched any of my other videos, I know I do have a tendency to rattle on, but I do always try to be as simple and down to earth as possible when I look at things like this. And naturally, having my own YouTube channel, you know, I've gravitated towards channels that claim to be the answer to your prayers when it comes to weight loss. And I gotta say, I think there's a lot of people massively overcomplicating this. And I get it. because, you know, if you're an influencer, a couple of million subscribers or even subscribers in six figures, you want to deliver, I guess, a little bit of what a marketing man once referred to as relative perceived value. So, you know, you want to sound like you know what you're talking about. You want to sound like you know more than your viewer. And you want to sound clever, I guess. So, yeah, there's a lot of long-winded explanations. And also, you know, I've noticed with a lot of these guys, they're selling something. They'll hit you with this one channel in particular, where this guy goes on about, make this, as he calls it, elixir, and it'll make you burn fat, solve world hunger, reverse climate change, you know, Christ knows what. And he seems to make an alarming amount of these. I mean, if you drank everything that this guy puts together, you'd be 7 hours a day just mixing the stuff up, I think. But I get the feeling that that channel is sponsoring some sort of turmeric products, something like that. And there does seem to be a trend I've noticed that, you know, let's give you quite a complex message. Say that we're here to help you lose weight and it's dead easy. Let's just make it complicated enough that you need to subscribe to my channel, buy my book, buy my training / diet plan. You get it. Whereas I would summarize my weight loss as focus, commitment, move more, eat less. There you go. Do that. So look at this. And do you know what? This recovery ride, this 160 watts for half an hour, has felt, so it's just stretching the legs, has felt about right this morning. So a minute of the main feature left. And then, ironically, I think the cool down actually starts a little bit higher than the main set. I also need to update my weight on Zwift. I updated it a couple of weeks ago, or a week ago, but I really should be updating it week on week, so that my watts per kilo does in fact reflect my watts per kilo. Anyway, if you have watched any of this, thank you very much. If you have commented and you've watched one of my live streams before, you may know that I struggle with the comments panel, or the chat panel rather. Still can't seem to get that working. So I'll sort of go a whole live stream and then think, oh, nobody commented. And then when I go in afterwards, as if by magic, a load of chat appears. So maybe another goal for this week is to get myself a bit more skilled with OBS. Anyway, if you've watched any of this, thank you very much, YouTube. I hope you have a wonderful week, and I will probably get another live stream in towards the, thank you, whoever said that. I will probably get another live stream in towards the end of the week. Get that geezer. One of those. To get the feeling he was hanging around till he got the ride on. It's probably just that my power's come down. Anyway, thank you very much, YouTube. I will catch you in the next one.